login. So once I log in for the first time, I need to update my student profile. KYC of ICAG requires us to know every student that passes through our tuition center. So I click on OK. I update my profile in essence, and then my ICAG number. This is your student's number when you register with ICAG. All right. So once I'm able to do that, it opens the homepage for me. So it even welcomes me. Hello, Michael. What do you want to do today? So at Aspire, we provide various options with our app. You can either do an ICAG program, your Citg programs, or we also provide executive training programs. We also have a bookstore and then a job portal. And all these are available to us. Okay. Now, take note of this homepage. You notice that you have a profile picture here. When you click on this, it gives you the details of your account. Okay? And here, you can either reset your password, you can log out, or if you need to do an update of your profile, you can. Notice that on your homepage, you have the home, you have updates, okay? And then you have saved. Now, this app actually is able to save videos. When you are online, you actually can save the videos. And then when you are in situations where you don't have internet, or you need to replay the videos that you have saved, you can come back to this saved button here, and it will give you a display of all videos you've saved. Then you can play these videos without internet. You also notice that in our previous apps, for you to reset your password, you need to actually call someone to do a reset for you. In here, you can actually reset your own password. And if you forget your password when you were logging in on the home page or on the login page, you can also trigger forget password, which will send a direct email to your email. Then you can access that to set your own password. So unlike in the previous app where when you forgot your password, you actually needed someone to reset for you. This is an improvement on that. So let's do ICAG. So in our ICAG program, we click. So you notice that because ICAG or all the tuitions are divided into settings or diets, you need to register for a diet. So here it tells you Aspire Professional Consult is registered partner in learning for the ICAG, providing world-class teaching to prepare students for their professional exam. You can register for a sitting. So first you click on register. There is an active sitting, which is the April to August 2022, because we are writing in August 2022. Select that. Which level are you registering with? Let's say I'm registering with level 1. And my preference, face-to-face or in a lecture room, e-learning, or we have a program called the Revision Masterclass. Let's take it that I want to do e-learning, so I select e-learning. Now, this here happens to be that in times of intervention, when you are a new student.
Right, so I think we can kick off.
Okay.
So, good evening, everybody, and welcome you all to our webinar session for the new diet for the Chartered Institute of Taxation program, specifically CIT. The usual thing is to normally have an opening night before the official start of the session. Okay, so basically that is the aim of this particular session, and we are glad to have all our students as well as prospective students on the call, and then also some of our past students who have been invited to also share their experience with us. Okay, so Mike, if we can get to the main flyer, this is actually for the modular. If we can actually have the main flyer, I think that's the first one. If you can switch to that, very good. Right. So clearly we are about to start, and thank you all for spending some few minutes to join us for this session. We will not take too much of your time. It's an opening session, and we expect to roll out our program from tomorrow. Normally, the aim for this intro session is to help you appreciate the world-class tuition program that has been put together for all our prospective students who intend to join the CIT program. And I must say that, yes, we have actually chalked a lot of milestones in this short period of offering this program, and has made it a bit, I would say, very attractive to all students who wants to become tax professionals. And based on the technology we have used for running our CA program, where we had a lot of great outcomes, the same competence has been replicated for the CIT program, and the feedback clearly is remarkable from every diet to diet. So I won't waste too much time. What we'll do is that we'll begin the session by inviting some colleagues who have been part of us in the last night to share some few testimonials with you before we kick off with our session, specifically when we shall invite our lecturers to give some remarks as we move on. But for now, I'll invite some of our students who were actually part of the previous sessions, who have some remarkable outcomes to share their experience with us. I don't know who may want to start, but Medina, too, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hope you are doing very fine.
Yes, please.
Okay, right. Can you tell us briefly how Aspire has helped you to be able to properly prepare for the CIT exam in the last night? Can you share your experience with us?
Yes, I can say that thank you for the opportunity, and I'm highly honored to share this experience with all prospective students. As a matter of fact, I joined Aspire during my CIT ICA program. And there's one statement I always make, that if I had joined Aspire earlier, I should have been chartered by now. The kind of input you give to us, it's awesome. And if you are a student and you really go according to what you've been taught and areas you should look at, I don't see why you can't get your 50 marks. It should be easy for you to get your 50 marks. Because any area, I remember our lecturers taught us that the lawyer, HQ, and then Mr. Odosu,
very good.
Whichever area they focused us on, it came. And if you learned, you will pass.
Very good.
If you really spend some quality time.
Thank you so much, Medina. How? I wanted to ask, what was the role of technology, what role did technology play in all this process? If Medunatu can hear me. Hello.
You will pass. Honestly, as for me, yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, it's clear.
Hello.
You can speak now.
Please, is it better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yes, I'm in Western region. And I joined class all my life in Western region. When I came to Accra, I came to Accra to write exam. So there's nothing like having any other session. And I didn't have any group discussion with anybody. So the videos, I played the videos every day, every night before I sleep. Every day, every night. That you have done, I say kudos and don't stop. Let's keep the recording there. It easily helps us with referrals, because honestly, I'm a very busy person. I work for myself. And sometimes you have to go on field for audits. You won't come, you spend days and you are here. If you don't go, you won't eat. So I'm always on the run. So it's the videos. Sometimes I miss lectures for like 2 or 3 continuous. I go back to the videos. I play them. Even when I'm in my thought row going, I'll play the video and listen and listen. Before you realize something drops, you remember something. And when it comes, you write. So after that one, it's been very instrumental in my learning. And I say thank you for it.
Thank you, Medunatu. So let me see, some other colleagues are also on call. Let me invite them also. Thank you, Medunatu, for that share of experience with us.
You're welcome, sir.
Very beautiful. Mary, if Mary is there, Mary, can we hear from you?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mary. How are you?
I'm very fine. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
And
Mary.
I'm very honored that to share my testimony with my colleagues and then the prospective students to at SPA. I think I also joined at SPA during my CA level, and I was struggling with one paper in level 2 FR. And then when I joined ASPA, I had it one time. And then in addition to the other 4 papers in the final part. So with the CIT, there was no other place I was going to attend classes if not ASPA. My little advice is that when I joined the CIT, I was having this idea that it's similar to the taxation we did in CA. So I was having that complacency. But then when I attended the first class with the HQ, that's in international taxation, he kind of debunked that idea I was having that CIT it's also on a different level. So everything actually that we were taught in class, if you listen and pay attention and learn on your own, revise more, the exam will not be that stressful for you. You will have everything to get the 50 marks at least. And kudos to Sir Philip. And then on the oil and gas as well, almost everything that we were taught in class, when you listen very well, I'm stressing on the listening because sometimes you might think, oh, I know it, but you have to be careful because the exam is not going to come in a straightforward way. But when you listen very well, you will have to just add 1 or 2 things and then you can get a 50 marks as well. And the videos, actually working at the same time and then learning and preparing for this professional exam, it's very tedious. But at my free times, I always have my earpiece and I'm always listening, watching it on my phone. If I get home, I log on to my laptop. I watch the videos, whatever I don't understand. The lectures are always on the standby. I can call Sir Philip, HQ, anytime. Though if they don't pick, they will call back immediately. They see the missed call. They are ready to just help you, explain things to you more to understand. So that was very, very helpful to me in passing. And then I think one other thing I did that helped me personally was I just picked one of my colleagues' numbers from the group, and then I asked him, are you up so that we can form like a group, like kind of study mates? So we discuss among ourselves. It was one of the things that the lecturers encouraged a lot. So you discuss peer review, you from your peers, then if you don't understand something in the next class, then you put it up for the lecturer to address. And I think my study mates, one was in Kumasi, the other was in Tamale. I've never met them before, but it was a strong bond, and God being so well, I think
Wow.
we at least I think we've all passed very well. They are left with only 1 paper, I think so. So I have only good things to say about ASPA actually. So I will urge those who are on the call to do your best. And then in fact, after the lecturers giving you the documents, you have to try your best to go through it yourself in as much as we don't have time. This is a professional paper. If you don't prepare very well, you go and you find yourself fumbling in the exam hall. And I think one thing HQ also encouraged me was when I was writing audits. In fact, what I was writing was so funny to me. I was laughing in the exam room thinking that, hey, I am writing the thing and I'm laughing. What would the person who will mark say or do? Because audit is very broad. But he told, after the paper, I expressed how I was very down. And then he told me that no, you've written what you were taught or what you know. So leave the rest to those who are marking. And then like whatever you believe in, if you believe in God or like your spiritual aspect, you have to be praying at least even after the paper and while in class for health for your lecturers as well and for that retentive memory. So I think that's the least I will have to say.
Thank you, Mary, for the great feedback. And I'm sure you are enjoying the Aspire advantage, which is clearly use of technology to make tuition easier for every student across the country. Thank you, Mary. Let's take one more and then we can move to our lecture. So, Kwabena, if you are there, if you can unmute yourself. Thank you, Mary, so much for the needed feedback. Is Kwabena there? If you can unmute yourself.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Kwabena.
Yes, my name is Kwabena Ejapong.
Okay.
I am glad to join the call this evening to share my experience with Aspire. I also joined the Aspire team at the CA level. So at this level, I joined to write strategic case study. That was the only outstanding paper at the time. I had already written the paper twice, but when I joined Aspire, I got it just that time. So I wrote it once with Aspire and had it. Afterwards, I joined the CIT program. It was a very good experience. In fact, I must commend the team that led the discussion. My own HQ, and then Philip Odosu for the final level 1, and then for the final level 2, Philip Odosu again, and then Faisal, and then Alasan Yusuf Trawi. I must commend them very well because they took us through a thorough training. I must say my encounter with Aspire has always been one touch, because with a case study, even though I had written twice elsewhere, I had it one touch with Aspire. And then the CIT, the final level 1, all the 3 papers, I had it at a go at the first sitting. And the final level 2, I had it at a go at the first attempt as well. So I must commend the team for the good job done. And the tutors, I must say, they are top notch. So I entreat all the prospective students on the call to take everything they say serious, especially when it gets to the end point of the lecture where they will want to discuss mock questions or any discussions they didn't get with us. I think it is very helpful. And because of the video session, the video recording, you are able to revisit anything you did not understand. And even if the video is not able to help, the lecturers are always available to answer any query you put to them after the class. So I must say, Aspire is a good team, and they must continue with the good work that they are doing. I'm appreciative for how far Aspire has brought me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback. Great for that feedback. So I think I will move to our lectures now. It's time to have our lectures. So for our team of lectures, we have Henry Cote of the Deloitte. We have Alasan Trawali, who is head of training at the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana. We also have Faisal, who works with GRA, a lawyer. We also have Philip, one of our former students and now qualified CIT member, and also doing very well, started with us with our tuition program, and I can see has also made remarkable input in making sure that we move our CIT tuition to this stage. Exactly. So basically, I want to invite our lecturers to also share their experience and encourage our prospective students before we can do some final discussions and then we close for the day. So if Henry is there, Henry, if you are there, I can hear the great feedback you are getting from your student, and I'm sure there's a lot of hard work to do going into this particular diet. Henry, if you are there, kindly unmute and maybe share a word with our students so that we can know how important it is to join the Aspire team to prepare for the CIT. We've made it easy, and I can say a lot has gone into making sure that this happened, and the team put together has actually been able to help us achieve this hallmark. So, Henry, if you are there, kindly take the floor.
Okay. Ellie, thank you. And thanks to everyone. Is my video showing?
Yes, we can see you clearly.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure. So I have few words. I see we are about 100 people on the call. One thing that I know myself and my colleagues always stress is the fact that we would always do what we have to do, right? We'll do about 60, 70% of the work, and the remaining 30%, 40% of the work would be to you. So yes, a lot of people on the call I joined, I could hear a number of people calling, mentioning Philip and I, Faisal, Charlie, and all that. But those on the call listening, the work, the 30%, 40% would have to be done by you. Aspire has made it very easy for you to do the 30 or the 40% by making available the video recording. I'm yet to see any other tuition center that is doing same. You have every bit of it. One thing that I always tell people is that when you finish writing, as in after every diet, I have people calling me, 2 or 3 people minimum calling me because I do not know them. They've never joined my class or even heard me even hearing their names. You just call and say, oh, you do not know me, but I know you. I was on using your videos to study and all that, and it's just the video. I didn't have time, so I just used 2 weeks before the paper. I just went over the videos and I was able to pass. That I'm saying this to urge all of you that we as facilitators will do our best just to ensure that you achieve the objective. You will do your part, and your part has been eased by technology. So in effect, you don't have any excuse. You can't justify saying you have tight schedules, you have what. Usually that's the anthem of students. That's usually the anthem, but it has been made easy for you. Please, CA taxation is very different from CIT. In this modern era, taxation is at the heart of every economy. It has been, and it keeps being emphasized as being at the heart of every economy. And therefore, there is a need for us to, as professionals, as chartered accountants, for us to beef up ourselves with the understanding and the knowledge of taxation. Multinationals, entities nowadays are not interested in somebody who knows accounting, debit and credit, and all that, because of the fact that we have softwares. We have people who may not have done accounting, but they have done MBA in management or whatnot, and are assuming those roles and those functions because they may get accounts officers, whatnot, to deal with those things. But what gives you an extra edge as a chartered accountant? You go on interview, what they are looking for in a finance manager includes somebody who can liaise with tax persons. You should be, they expect you to be let me not use an authority, but close to an authority on the field of taxation. You should be able to advise the organization you find yourselves first before detail of same may be referred to tax consultants to provide whichever detailed response on whichever tax concerns there is. Nowadays, they want a finance manager who can speak on tax issues, not on just matters that relates to Act 896. A finance manager is approached with a question on bringing an assignee from one entity, from say the parent company outside, to the Ghanaian entity. The individual is being seconded to the Ghanaian entity for, let's say, 20 days or 1 month. What are the tax implications of this? You can't say as a finance manager that you are going to refer this to the tax consultants. Every little advice you refer to tax consultants. No. I'm saying this to urge you guys that you have the CA, you are chartered accountant, but there need to be a little edge on you in this modern era that can be compared to others who do not have that same edge. So make yourself stand out in the job market wherever you find yourself. And I think you'll be fine. Join, aspire, and everything will be fine. You meet your objective. That's the little I have to tell you. I'm available still on the call. Where there are questions, I'll be happy to respond to. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Henry, for the feedback and the great comment for our students. I think we can now invite Philip. Philip, if you are ready, one of our lecturers, specifically oil and gas. Philip, if you are ready, you can kindly speak to our students. Right, Philip, you're on the floor now.
Okay, I hope I can be heard. Thank you very much, Ellie. Thanks all of you for joining us today. I'm so glad that we have some of our students, past students who are successful with us, and then our lecturers are also part of us. To be honest with you, I'm very glad to see Mary. This is the first time seeing you, not face to face, but you've been a very good student, and I think I must commend you for that. And all of you who have gone through Aspire, I think the fire that is in us is as a result of, for those of us who went through Aspire, the same fire we are also releasing on you. The fire of baptism that we received from Aspire during the ICA is still burning in us. And so we don't have any excuse to also release the same thing to our colleagues who aspire to be CIT members. I must say that I relate to whatever my colleague Henry has said. For us, I can promise you we'll give you 70% of whatever you need to pass to get your 50 marks. The rest is up to you to just read. And I'm happy our sister Hamdia also made mention of the fact that the video is also helping a lot. I can't remember when I was doing my CRT somewhere, there was no video, there was no audio, and so once you miss class, that is the end. Getting materials was even a problem, but for Aspire, all these available materials are available for students to aid students in your study. So we are prepared, and we can show you whatever is within us that we need to give to you as a student to enable you pass. We are ready. Henry made a very good point that now CIT or tax practitioners is the way to go on the market. Employers will not employ a finance manager and at the same time employ a tax practitioner or a tax consultant. It has to be a blend of the two. So once you are coming in as a finance manager, you should be an authority in tax. And so once you complete ICA, the next level, whether you like it or not, is to do CIT. And if you want to do CIT, there is no other place than ASPAR. We are moving very fast. And so it's better all of you join the train so that we can all move together. So I wouldn't say much time. For our next diet, all the lecturers, we are poised, we are prepared, and we are ready to meet you. We are starting tomorrow. And so we'll be expecting to do a lot of interactions and to meeting all of you. It has to be a win-win situation, okay? We shall give our best, and you also have to do the little in your corner to be able to. The most important thing is for you to, even if you don't attend lectures, once you have access to the video, just like Ambia said, at your spare time, just play it, just listen to it. Definitely something will drop that will help you in your exams. And then this year too, we shall be having a very strong intervention, and that will prepare students a lot towards the writing of the exam. So Eli, thank you. I don't have much to say. We shall move into action tomorrow onwards. All right, so thank you, everybody. Right.
Thank you, Philip. Philip, I'm sure you'll be on the side for questions if the time comes up. So
sure.
Before we take time to go through our question, I think we have Augustine also there, one of our students who also passed, just for some few testimonials before we take some questions, maybe for those who just joined us. Is Augustine there? Hello, Augustine, if you are there, you can unmute yourself. If Augustine is not ready also, Kwame Besua is also there. Kwame has just one of our finalists who qualified, and I'm sure he's awaiting his graduation. Kwame, are you there? You can unmute yourself. Right.
Hello,
and Kwame, I must say, has been part of our level 1, part 1 program, as well as our part 2 program. Kwame, is that not true?
Yes, please. I was part of the part 1 and part 2.
Yes.
And I am grateful that I was recommended to ASPAR team, and I have not regretted joining the ASPAR team. In fact, it was my first time joining online class, because during my CA days, I couldn't get that opportunity to join online class. But ASPAR helped me so much that I'm okay with the results I got from ASPAR. So I will encourage all those my colleagues who are on the call that if you are with ASPAR, you are safe. It is possible for you to make it at a sitting, because with my case, I was able to do it in 2 sittings, and I'm happy. The lecturers, especially HQ, Mr. Philip, all my lecturers, they were so much there for us that even when you are not ready for interventions, they will be calling you to find out why you have missed an intervention class. So ASPAR is a very good place for all of us. When you join ASPAR, you are safe and you are cool to go. At least with ASPAR, without your own effort, you have 50% assured. But with your little contribution, you can get the maximum points that will just give you the expected result. So with my own experience, one of the things that I did was always be part of the class. Because of my schedules, I participated in every class so that I'll get my understanding there. Then later, when I go back to my videos, I'll be able to get additional information that will help me study further. So participating in class always, or being present for lectures all the time, and then reviewing the videos especially, is what really kept me going. And I think that is a good thing for all of us on the call to to take note of that. So, Sally, God bless you for bringing us far, and Mr. Philip, all of the team, HQ, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kwame. And I'm sure the team will support you during the graduation. Yeah, so thank you so much for that contribution. So we can now move to questions, but before we go for questions, I just want to take some few minutes, if it's not a minute or two, to run you through our program. Actually, for our week, our final level 1 and final part 2 programs are now for weekends. In the past, what we normally did was to run weekday as well as weekend, and then repeat the session on each particular session. So what we're doing was that, yes, we'll have a weekend program and repeat the same lecture also on a weekday. That's what we're doing. So now the change we have done is that for now, all the final level 1 and final part 2 program for the normal tuition will be running strictly on weekends. That is the new change we have brought. So all lectures will be on weekends. But if there's any need to switch to weekday, why not? But for now, the main thing is that all lectures for the main tuition will be on weekends. Are we clear? Now, for the modular, we have normally the modular. Mike, if you can flip to the modular for me, we have normally the modular program. Why do we normally have the modular? Usually, there are reciters who do not want to participate in full tuition anytime maybe they have failed a paper or they were not able to pass a particular paper. So what we normally do is that for the ICA program, we actually introduce what we call the modular, exactly, to do what we call a lot of question and answer sessions to prepare students for the exams. So we've been doing this for the ICA program, and it has really helped a lot of people. So we are replicating the same for the CIT program, where we'll run what we call a modular session. So what happens is that for now, the modular will be running on the weekdays, whilst the normal tuition will be running on the weekend. And the modular is expected to meet the expectations of our reciters who would want more interaction with the lecturers, as well as solve more questions with the lecturers to enable them go through the process. Exactly. But the temptation is that sometimes students would want to join the modular all because they feel that the fee of the modular is less than the fee for the main tuition. But I will advise against that. Exactly. Don't use price as a determinant in making your choice. The modular has been designed for reciters. So when you don't have the basic issues and you join the modular, you may actually frustrate the program. Because what students do is that they join the modular and then start asking basic questions and drawing everybody back. Whilst the appreciation is that when you are a modular student, exactly, we give you all the videos of the previous diet, which you have already participated in. So then the interactions we do in the modular class is expected to help you grasp technical issues and solve questions with you. Exactly. Because some people, having failed the paper, don't want to even go for tuition. They just want to relax and solve their own questions. But the modular arrangement is to support your revision, exactly, from the start of the session to the time that the exam will be due for your take. Are we clear? So that is the distinction we have made. We've done it for the CA program, and we are replicating same for the CIT program. So the modular will be on weekdays, whilst the normal tuition will be on the weekend. Exactly. So the same lecturers, but as I said, two different target of students. Exactly. If you're a first timer, join the tuition. If you are a reciter, kindly join the modular to ensure that you can prepare yourself ready for the next exam. So basically, that is the two programs we have. Now, the modular is discounted. Exactly. The modular is a 20% discount of the main tuition fee. So if you look at it there, that's why I was telling you that students will normally choose the modular all based on the price, but forgetting that that program is tailored for reciters who have actually gone through the entire tuition and require some few revision to prepare towards the exam. So we advise against that. If you are a first timer, join the main tuition. Exactly. So basically, these are the key announcements I want to make before we can make time for questions. So if you have a question, I think we'll spend some time to take your questions. We'll take 10 questions and then we can shut down. So if you have a question, you can raise up your hands. You can use the, what do you call it, the electronic hands up, and then we can actually unmute you to ask your question. So Mike, if you can coordinate that for me, right? Mike, can you do that for me, or I should do it? So if you can unmute.
Zachariah Shaibu.
So Zachariah, if you can ask your question, we can take off from there. Yes. You can have a question for the lecturers or for the previous students, whichever you want to ask, you can do that. Exactly. So yes, okay. Zachariah.
Then maybe before they talk, there are some questions in the Q&A.
Okay.
Someone, Peter Bedu, wants to know, how do I access the ASPA class? He also says that it is quite difficult contacting the officials of ASPA.
Okay.
And he also says you make payments using the app and no one acknowledges and nothing. So please kindly display contact person and their phone numbers.
Okay, so if you have our flyer, so how do you access the ASPA app? As clearly, once you register in the ASPA mobile app, automatically we have a way of, my kindly check can be muting, and I think Francis Chaku has kept himself. Please kindly be checking that, because people may give us some feedback that clearly will distract us. Right. So yes, so I'm saying that how do you access the ASPA class? Your process is to register using the ASPA Executive Institute app, which is normally an app clearly on Play Store as well as iOS. Exactly. So if you are using iPhone or Android, go to your App Store or Play Store and then download the ASPA Executive Institute app. Once you have that app, you will go through the process by putting in your email address and creating an account. Thereafter, you can select the CIT program, register for your subject, and pay immediately in the app. Exactly. So once you are done with payment, normally within 24 hours, we should get the team responding exactly by normally adding you to the WhatsApp platform. Thereafter, we continue to interact with you and share relevant information to enable you access the lecture. Exactly.
When you pay in the app, you first get an email.
So for the in terms of acknowledgement of payment, once you are done with the payment, you should get a receipt in your mail acknowledging the payment. So please, that is not true. Exactly. Once you are done with the payment, you get an electronic receipt in your mail. Exactly. So beyond that, we will add you to the WhatsApp platform to be able to have access to the needed information thereafter. But if you have a need to call any of us, I can tell you that my number is clearly displayed on the flyer with the secretary's number. Exactly. I'm always accessible. Just that for now, as we speak now, we are currently having an examiners conference. So my calls are not really that up to point, but I can tell you that I normally respond to my calls. And once you don't get me, you can reach the secretary also quickly to get any issue addressed. Exactly. So I think there's another question. Thanks for the opportunity. I want to know how much it costs for professional level 1 as a qualified member. I think that has been displayed on the screen. The flyer of the program is there, so I don't think it's a problem. Now, for the final level 2, we don't have a manuals for final level 2. What happens is that normally the lecturers have put together some materials, exactly, for students who will be on the final part 2 program. So I wouldn't advise you to buy any manual or any textbook, exactly. The materials will be given to you by the lecturer to support your study. Because I keep getting that question from a lot of our students, where are the manuals for final part 2? No. The team for the final part 2 have put together some material. So what we'll do is that immediately you register for the final part 2 and you are added to the page, we will automatically send you all the previous materials that were used in the previous session, so that when you go to the app, you can even start watching the last 16 lectures, all the lectures from the first day to the last day. All lectures are there now in the app. So when you register, you can go there, use the material and start revision, so that when the lectures take off, you're actually coming into the session and contributing to the discussion. I believe I'm making sense. So please take note of that. Exactly. The materials will be shared for the final part 2 will be shared. Now, for final level 1 or final part 1, what we've done this time around is that the materials are shared in the app. You can have a soft version in the app for you to use for your referencing. If you need a hard copy, then you may have to procure one, exactly, from the ASPA bookstore. So if you go into the app, there's a bookstore there. You can place an order and make a payment, and the team will deliver that to you. Are we clear? Now, somebody says, is there any plans to decentralize the examination centers? For now, exams is in Accra as well as Kumasi. The good thing is that the executive secretary of the institute, that CIT, clearly is with me here. We are all in Kufuridua for examiners conference. Clearly, I will have to speak to him about that. It's one of the things I expect to discuss with him when we are done with this session. I have a meeting with him tonight. So clearly, it's part of the things I'll be discussing with him, because we have exam centers only in Kumasi and Accra. Why not? We could broaden the scope to see if we can scale it up to other regions. Exactly. So it's part of the issues I'll raise up with the executive secretary of the institute. Exactly. Now, the next thing is, would the online lectures run at the same time with the actual? Yes. We don't do face-to-face lecture for CIT. All lectures are strictly online. So kindly take note of that. All lectures for the CIT are strictly online. So there's no in-person class. And every lecture is recorded. So there's no need to stress yourself. Because once you are qualified, we don't want to put you through that stress of having to travel all the way, spend so much effort and time to get to a lecture class. Please, it's online and it has helped a lot of us to make it flexible for us. Exactly. So somebody said, I've been able to pay for one subject, but the system doesn't allow me to register for the other. What it means is that once you register exactly in the app and you have access to one already, there's normally an add button. Anytime you go under where your subject is, there's an add button at the bottom of where your subject is. Click on it. You can add an extra subject and pay in the app. If you have any difficulty,
if you can display your email address, we'll check
so
that on the back.
Your email address, we can even help you with that. Exactly. So maybe, Mike, if they can send us, we cannot share the email address online. That will not be fair for term of privacy. So when we are done, you can share your email address with us. We'll reach out to help you to add the extra subject. I think that's fair, right? So basically, we are done with the Q&As that was shared. Let's now take the calls. Those who want to come on live and ask questions. Let's do that now. If we can run that quickly, because we are hard pressed for time. I can check that for me. There's something. Right. So who are you asking to who are you allowing to ask the question? Mike, so that the person can be aware and we can kindly manage that. Hello.
Okay, it was Rebecca Chian.
Okay, Rebecca, you have a question.
Noise. She had noise.
You had a lot of noise in the background. So let's get somebody. Anyone else with a question? Okay, Nana also, yes. Come up.
Yeah. Good evening to us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, I want to know, I've made the registration. I want to know if there's a WhatsApp group. And
yes.
So that at least.
There's a WhatsApp group. So we're actually adding people now to the pay. When did you make the payment? Hello? When did you do the payment, or he's off?
So I made it around 23rd February.
Wow, that should not be the case. So please kindly reach me immediately after the session so that we can manage that quickly. Exactly. So please reach out to us immediately so that we can add you to the WhatsApp platform. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Any other person who wants to ask a question? Mike, if you can manage that for me.
There is Francis Chapo.
Okay, Francis Chapo, do you have a question?
Good evening. I for one do not have a question, but I just want to apologize to Mr. HQ. Unfortunately, I registered late and wanted to test the pulse, but I went through the paper, that is the oil and gas, and passed. I am sorry, HQ, I didn't take the paper, but reviewing the questions that came, I thought I was in good position to go through. The more reason why I want to apologize to you. But this time around, I'm for good. Thank you.
Okay, Francis. Thank you for that interesting. So you were afraid of writing, but when you saw the question paper, I realized that you would have killed this thing.
Exactly.
I get that feeling. It's actually the case for those who wrote strategic case study last sitting. It's been a very marvelous outcome for those who are writing strategic case study. The outcome is so interesting, and I'm sure those who didn't write the last sitting paper will really, really not be happy. Thank you, Joseph, for that feedback. Can we take the next one? Is it Shaibu Zakaria?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Shaibu.
Hello.
Hello, Zachariah. We
Hello.
can hear you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. I really impressed about the ACPI. I'm not yet registered, but I had a plan. So I can speak. I learned that one can still get the previous lecture. So
Yeah.
I'm planning. Maybe I'm planning to organize money and register and follow up the lectures. But since you said one can still get the previous lecture videos, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time you register. Yeah.
Hello. Good evening.
Mike, if you can manage this for me, a lot of people are having their mics on, and
hello.
Mike, if you can mute everybody so that we can take it one after time, okay?
Hello.
Yes. Who is
Hello.
on?
Hello.
Yes, Faisal.
I'm still online.
Okay, so Shaibu, yes, can you wrap up so that we can?
Yes, and then I heard you saying that tomorrow classes began, but on the flyer it seems it's 4th. I don't know, how do you reconcile the two? And 4th is next other weekend.
Yeah, so there are two programs. The main tuition starts tomorrow, whilst the modular starts on the 4th. That's for the receipt test. So it's a different, so can you know the difference? So the receipt test program starts on the 4th, whilst the main tuition starts from this Saturday, that's 25th, yeah. So can you know
so with the main tuition, that one is now weekends alone.
Yes, weekends alone, yeah.
Okay. Then when one will plan for it. Thank you so much. I think I've been impressed about the people who talk about.
Okay, so thank you, Zachariah. Thank you so much. So we can take the next person. Is it Lois? Lois, if you are there, you can unmute yourself. Lois, if you are there, you can unmute yourself. So Mike, if you can request, I don't have the ability to request people to unmute themselves. If you can
I've done that already.
Okay, but I'm struggling. Lois, if you can speak up.
Hi, Ellie. Good evening.
Madam. How are you? Your voice is far away.
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself. The app on our laptops. Hello.
Come again.
Can you hear me?
Are you talking about? I can hear you now.
Okay, so I want to find out if we can access the app on our laptops.
Lois, thank you for that question. And that is the most important thing when it comes to the Aspire tuition. We recommend all students to use the app on the laptop, preferably, because that gives you access to download more videos so that you can have enough access exactly to a lot more. Because the video sizes are large. Sometimes you have about 5, 10, 15 videos that you are downloading and using for your revision. And obviously your phone cannot manage those mini videos, exactly. So we will actually prefer that you use your laptop to use the app. And we have a process to help you do that. So once you register, we'll drop the process on the WhatsApp platform. You watch the video and follow through the process to do the same, exactly. So if you cannot do that also, we have our technical team ready to support you to do that, exactly. So it shouldn't be a problem. The preferable option we normally recommend to students is to use the app on their laptop. So once we are done, why not we share the video with students to follow through the process to do that, exactly. So thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Ellie.
Right. Okay. So Melody Pra, if you are there, you can unmute yourself. Melody.
Okay, thank you. I think my question was with the laptop, the first one that has been answered already.
So that's fine, right?
Secondly, I want to ask, some of us are new, in fact. I just want to find out what happens tomorrow when we start the lectures. What's the procedure like? Where and where are we supposed to go, since we are not added? We are not yet on the WhatsApp platform.
Okay, so we are trying all possible means to ensure that all persons are added to the platform before we take off tomorrow. So if you're on call and then you have made payment and you are yet to be added, quickly reach out to us, exactly, via WhatsApp, so that we can quickly make sure you are added to the WhatsApp platform. So please don't delay. Make sure you are added so that you can quickly be able to join the session tomorrow, because tomorrow is the introductory class and I wouldn't want you to miss it. Even if you miss it, obviously the videos are there, but it will be good to join so that you can quickly interact with the lectures and get the expectation of each particular paper as you go into the session. Exactly. So thank you, Melody. So anyone else on call who has not been added exactly to the WhatsApp platform, quickly reach us, myself or the secretary. The numbers are there. I'll share with you after the session. Exactly. But my number is the easiest number to remember: 0555 213 559. 0555 213 559. 0555 213 559. So that should be easy to remember. So kindly do that. Reach out to me. I'll let them add you to the page as quick as possible. So let's have another person. Is it Atta Achampon? If you can unmute yourself. Atta Achampon, if you can unmute yourself. If Atta is not ready, we have...
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, Atta.
Thank you very much, Ellie, and your team for putting this together for us. And we are highly impressed with the digital means that you have to ease our tuition. I want to find out, you mentioned that there will be intervention. May we please know in advance which month the intervention starts?
Definitely.
And would that also be on weekends?
Definitely, we'll put out a program for that. Because in the past, we were running interventions which were normally like tuition programs, but we'll give it a different feel this time around. Exactly. So we'll normally put out a program a month and a half before the start of the intervention. So please watch out for that. When the time comes, we'll release that program. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. So if you have Harriet, don't call. If you are there, you can come on. Let's hear you, Harriet.
Hi, Ellie. Good evening.
Good evening, Harriet.
Yeah, so please, I want to find out, is there any payment plan for, say, alumni who want to join the CIT?
I know your characters very well. If this question does not come, I don't know who else to ask. But I know as past students, normally for those who are alumni, exactly, by the mere fact that you've been part of that, it's clearly...
So, Eddie, please,
yeah?
I was off. I didn't hear anything. Please, could you please repeat?
I'm repeating. So I'm saying that for those of you who are part of our alumni, just the mere fact that you're part of our alumni is already an indication that we can recover our debt. So normally we do that, we arrange for that. So expect that on the alumni platform. We'll share any arrangement in terms of payment plan on the alumni platform. Okay. But normally people directly reach out to me with their own payment plan, and it makes it easy. Exactly. Some students will reach out to you and say, sir, like a student reached out to me about 3 days ago, and she said, sir, I want to pay it 400 Cedi every month. And I said, why? Is he a standing order? And she was laughing. So I don't have a problem. You can put your own payment plan together. That is, if you are an alumni, it makes it easy because all of you are our students. We know you. You are already part of the Aspire family. So exactly, money should not be a stopper. Exactly. Even though when you qualify, you haven't yet brought me my seat. Exactly. You haven't yet sold the seat. When you qualify for your seat, I've not even started chopping that money yet, but you are still looking for credit. It's not a problem.
Thanks so much. I'll get back to you.
Well, so don't worry, we'll manage that, okay? We'll manage such as. So just do that. But those on the alumni will share information specifically for that, okay? For those who want some payment structures, we'll kindly announce that on the alumni platform, okay? Right. So we have Emmanuel Akaku. If Emmanuel is there, you can ask your question. Emmanuel Akaku, if you are there, you can ask your question. If Emmanuel is not ready, Paul JB, Paul, if you are there, you can ask your question. Paul JB.
Yes, please. Good evening. Good evening, Master Ali.
Good evening, Paul. How are you?
Oh, by God's grace, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Thank God, whatever it is, I was able to get one paper. That is tax audit. And I have to write
at least you have got some
taxation, international taxation and gas and oil and all that. I want to know if I do the modular, will I have access to the previous lecture notes?
Yeah, so when you choose the modular, all the lectures you had last sitting is there in the app.
Okay.
So you can use it for revision as quick as possible. whilst joining your lectures to solve questions. Are you getting it? So when it happens like that, you are going to be exam ready, because at that level of discussion is purely questions and answers. Are we together? So try and use the last sitting videos for revision whilst joining the lectures for the question and answer session. Okay, right. So the model is actually test.
So our meeting, I'll come.
Yeah,
I will come so that we will talk.
It is well, Paul. Paul, every time you say you are coming, you have not even come yet.
I see you. That's time. The time.
Every time they say they are coming. Last time somebody sent me some momo, and then he says, "Sir, I always say I'm coming, but I'm not coming. But you take this momo for now."
Okay. That will do.
You send the momo for now. Let the momo drop.
Before I come personally. Okay.
See, when you are coming to the Chiefs Palace, let your alcohol come before your presence comes.
It will come with soft drinks.
Well.
Thank you
sir.
very much.
This is Emmanuel Kapu. I'm ready.
Okay, Emmanuel, if you are ready, let's take you.
Yeah, my own is a plea.
Okay.
Some of us are still on the ICA program. We've wrote and I'm waiting for our outcome. But I wanted to plead that if they start with the CIT program,
let me deal with
if they start with the CIT
let me deal
program,
with that.
the videos should be
Emmanuel,
done in piecemeal. Unlike you see the financial modeling one, the videos were done like for example, like something like 3 hours. So downloading it becomes a bit difficult. You could download that, then it gets to 70 or 80%, then it just quits. Then you go and then start again. So maybe this one, the video should be done in piecemeal, so that after the outcome of the results, and then we want to join, we could be able to download the videos easily.
Okay. I think the technical team is listening, and then I'm sure they'll take notice of that. Exactly. So you are recommending that the lecture video should be broken, because I'm sure my lecturers are listening to me. One of the things we normally also do is that if you are teaching, make sure you are running it based on a topic. Exactly. So when you get to a point that you know you have delivered a particular topic, you can request the technical team to, or what we call, stop that recording, so that when students are downloading the video, it can be based on topic and make it easy for them to quickly go back and watch the video. Because sometimes we have the session for 3 hours non-stop. And when they are watching, exactly, sometimes they don't get the snippet of some of the key things that sometimes they will need to watch. Exactly. So I'm sure my colleague lecturers are listening, will deal with that going into this sitting. So let's not allow the lectures to all run through the 3 hours. You can break it down. Maybe after the first 1 hour, once you have delivered your main issues for that 1 hour, you can take a break, cut the recording, do another 1 hour, cut the recording, and do another final 30 minutes. Exactly. So let's do it such a way that the student can easily play the videos and get the recording easily. Exactly. So I think before I take another question, I'm inviting one of our lecturers in the person of Faisal, Lawyer Faisal Mustafa, one of our outstanding lecturers for the final level. He works with the GRA, formerly with Deloitte. Exactly. So Faisal, if you are there, you can share one with our students. He's also an examiner actually for the final part. Exactly. So Faisal, if you can come up, share a word with our students.
Okay. So yeah. So good evening, everybody. Welcome to this session. Basically, this session is to more or less have an interaction with prospective students, basically for the CIT, and to more or less serve as an opening forum for this sitting tuition, basically. I think the results for the last sitting for the CIT exams, it was released somewhere the last 2 weeks, and generally performance, especially for the final part 2, wasn't that bad. I think it was around 60-70%, or about 80% thereabouts, 70-80%. And the difficulty has always been the final part 1, basically. And for final part 2, I think the issues, or where we had quite a number of casualties was strategic tax planning and then advanced tax. Yeah, I realized for tax administration, a lot of students did quite well, which was quite impressive. But for advanced tax and then strategic tax planning, where a couple of students had difficulties. But that notwithstanding, the performance of final part 2 was generally good. For final part 1, the difficulty has always been international tax, and then in recent times, tax audits. But international tax has always been a trouble child. What we realized is that international tax is quite broad. It's quite broad. You're talking about treaties. You're talking about transfer pricing. Talking about other issues that even pertains to our income tax laws. So it's quite broad, and you realize that students need to put in a lot of work when they're preparing for international tax. It's quite broad. I have to say, and I'm also part of the examination committee, and we are the committee members. We really acknowledge that fact that is quite broad, and the expectation is that students have to put in extra effort. So the question is that I even do say that if even some of the examiners are even put before within 3 hours to answer some of the questions, it might be difficult. But that's the purpose of examination, always to prepare students to stand certain challenges out there. And the 3 hour might not be enough for one to really think and put things on paper, but it's just to challenge you and to prepare you for bigger challenges. So for me, I think students should really put in more effort. I don't know averagely the number of hours each student puts in per day for in preparation for this exam. That's quite apart from the teaching that you attend. But the expectation is that you will need to put in a minimum of 4 or 5 hours a day, and it has to be consistent. I believe when you put in that kind of hours, 5 hours a day, and it's consistent, okay, you should be fine, because it's quite demanding. For tax audit, I think the focus of late in recent times is practical. Okay, so past questions may not work at all. Past questions may not work. The chief examiner is also with the GRA, basically. So he brings in practical questions, basically. So the focus has always been that when you're reading, you try to more or less or try to relate issues to the practical ground. Some of the issues may cut across the normal audit or statutory audit or what pertains to accounting audit, right? But when you're answering the questions, try to relate it to tax. You realize that when you're marking, when we are marking the script, you realize students, even though the question is on tax audit, students give us answers, raw answers that pertains to only like statutory audit or normal audit. And we're like, no, try and relate it, because there are similarities, right? The same principles may carry across or may feature in both statutory audit and tax audit, right? But try to relate it, try to skew your answer more of tax audit. That will be quite helpful. So for tax audit, like I said, the focus now is practical. It's practical oriented. You can try looking at the most recent past questions, like 2 years, 3 years, and you see the focus. Okay, see the focus. So the expectation that when you put in your best, you should be fine, because there's no need to try to face students. And what we try to more or less get from students is to see whether you have some level of appreciation. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to give a perfect answer at all. But do you have some level of appreciation that we can say move on to the final level, or move on and leave that level, or complete the course? You don't need to give us a perfect answer, right? So the perfect answer will only come in if you're looking out for an award. But for the 50 marks, just push yourself a bit, and that comes in, or that comes as a result of you really putting extra work, by sitting down and really putting extra work. Right? So the issue is when the students answer the questions, you can see where this person has prepared or not. This person is ill prepared, this person is well prepared, based on the submissions, right? So the takeaway for tax audit is for you to study, right, and try to relate to the practical perspective. And in any case, when you put in your best, you should be fine. You should be fine. That has been the posture now, because no one wants to fail anybody. We just want to be comfortable that the student has a more or less an average understanding of what the requirement is, and we go by the syllabus, right? So that's it for task audits. Oil and gas is not that a big problem, but I think that is purely reading. Okay, and I'm sure when students who put in more efforts, they will only be fine with oil and gas. Final part one is only the trouble child, like I said. But if you're able to cross final part one, final part two, you should get it with ease. The difficulty with final part two is that you're writing 3 papers: strategic task planning, advanced taxation, and then tax administration. Okay, so the requirements for that level is that out of these 3 papers, you have to pass the three at a sitting or at a go, or if you pass 2 and you fail 1, the failed paper, the mark should not be less than 40. If you pass through, for instance, you get 80, 70, and you get 30, you will require to write all the 3 at once. You will require to sit for all the 3 again. Okay. But if you get 60, 70, 42, right? So you will be given the opportunity to sit for only the fail paper, because it's a good fail. It's a good fail to some extent. So students should look out for that. That we want to have. They want to ensure that students have fair knowledge across board, across all the 3 papers, right? Said that students will not focus on only 1 or 2, and then have issues with the other paper, and we want to take that in a subsequent sitting, right? So basically, for the part 2, try and have fair knowledge or fair understanding of the 3 papers. So in case you go in, you don't even do well in 1, it will not be a bad failure. So if it's a bad failure, then you have to take the 3 all together again, right? So in other instances too, if you get above 45, if you pass the 2 papers out of the 3 in final part 2, and the one you failed, you have 45, right? So what can be done is that, so they would add 3 marks. If the 3 marks average, the average of 3 marks, or 3 marks exceeds 150, right? Then you will be granted the opportunity then they'll give you the pass for you to go. Yes, so because we know how difficult it is for final part 2. So the dilemma with final part 2 is that if you are getting a fail in the paper, it should be a good fail. So you don't have to sit for all the 3 again. If you pass 2 and you get a good failure, like get more than 45, and if you add a total mass for the 3 papers, also one you get 65, the other 70, the other 45. So when you add the 3, it's more than 150, right? So they granted that concession for you to not to write again. So for you not to even, so for you to complete the paper, that's that section, the final part 2. So basically, that is that's the idea, and students should expect more or less some improvements, okay, and then some initiatives, okay, regarding the CIT exams going forward, because there have been plans underway recently. Earlier part of this week, we went for examiners, examination committee, and markets conference. Had professors from most of these people from some of the universities in Ghana to come deliver lectures and to provide some insights as to what needs to be done regarding questions, moderation, and marking. So you should expect some improvement going forward. Because it's most of these policies or recommendations will be implemented going forward to ensure that we get improved more or less services. Even though it's not bad, it's fairly okay. The reason being that, the other point is that CITG is a professional exam and is the only professional exam that more or less regulate tax affairs in Ghana. So the standards are quite high. And like I said, no one has an interest in failing anyone. So if you put in your best, we will know. As a lecturer or as an examiner, as a marker, when students put in the best, you will know. When a student is ill prepared, the submission will tell. You can't hide it, right? And when you see someone putting in the best, it's just trying to get understanding that the person has a fair understanding of the course, the person has prepared fairly for the exams, and the person moves on, right? Because there's no reason wanting to create a perfect system, which is virtually impossible. That only exists in the ideal world.
Yeah.
So that's just I think my submission.
Thank you so much.
As we continue to interact, we'll have a lot more conversations to do. Right.
Yeah. So thank you, Faisal, for the input. I really appreciate your submission, taking us through each program and the expectation, especially for the papers specifically. And I'm very happy our students are listening in and taking notes of all that you have said. I believe we can wrap up in the next 5 minutes so that we can all have our lunch, or sorry, that's a lunch supper or something. So let's wrap up and then we go. So there are some few questions. Let me deal with them and then we can wrap up. Exactly. So I think somebody said, if I'm a reciter and the weekday doesn't favor me, what do I do? Obviously, as I said, the video remains our main support. So even though you are a reciter and then all receipt programs are on weekday, kindly take up the video, watch it. And as I said, our lectures are always available to provide the needed support. Exactly. So that should not be discouragement at all. Exactly. But always make time, if the time is available, to join the online once it happens. Exactly. Can somebody register for the papers of the particular level? Yes, you must register for the final part 1 or level 1. You must register for all 3 papers and write all at the same time. Exactly. Somebody said, please, what are the exemption options for CA members? So once you are a CA member, yes, you are exempted to write only the final level papers, which we have displayed in the flyer. So you're going to write 6 papers, exactly. 3 in the final part 1 and 3 in the final part 2. So kindly take note of that. Once you are a CA member, you are granted the full exemption to write only 6 papers to charter as a CIT member, exactly. So somebody say, please, I want to order for the final part 1 books. Yes, they are in the app. You can order them live in the app. You can go to the bookstore in the app and place an order and make payment, and it will be delivered to you. For the final part 2, Faisal and the team have some document that we'll be sharing with you, exactly, to guide you through the session. And as I said, once we begin the session, I will share all relevant documents that Faisal and the other colleagues who are handling the final level, exactly, all the documents they've shared in the previous session, we'll share the same with you. And I'm sure, as he has said, from their examiners conference, I'm sure a lot of new ideas and input have been provided, and I'm sure that will be captured into the current diet, exactly, to guide the conversation going into the exam. Exactly. So somebody say, what is the pass rate? I don't know, but from the beginning, we've allowed you to hear some of our students spoke about our pass rate and how they were able to pass. We had Mary who spoke about it. Our lady also from Takrady. Is it Menunatu? Yes. We also had
Madinatu.
Madinatu. Sorry, forgive me. Faisal, I can't even pronounce the name. Faisal, you should have helped me. So Madinatu also passed. We also have a
yeah, I should have. Madinatu, okay. Anyway, I wasn't online when she made a submission.
Okay, so Madinatu also passed. Okay, so Madinatu also passed. We also have Kwame Beswa. Kwame is one of our students who went through the final part 1 with us, passed all of them, and also finished at the final part 2. So Kwame has qualified, exactly, from the final level papers, and he is one of our main products who has registered all papers with ASPA and has done it in 2 sittings, 3 in the last 2 sittings, and another 3 in this last sitting. So it's remarkable. Exactly. So it means he has used 2 diet to charter as a CIT member. So clearly, you can just see how remarkable that is. Exactly. So please, what is the option for reciters? So for reciters, as I said, you will join the modular program, which is normally happening on the weekdays. And as I said, the modular is normally a 20% discount off the usual fee for the normal class. So please, we'll share the materials or flyers with you after the session for you to go through. Exactly. So somebody say, if work does not involve taxation, where do I get the practical experience from the like of the speaker submitted? Opportunities are bound, exactly. So once you join the program, why not, if you have a need to have some practical experience in practice of tax, we'll surely have that opportunity given to you, exactly. So don't worry, once you join the program, we'll provide that opportunity, exactly. So somebody said, do the reciters have access to your previous videos without paying or pay for full? Now, once you register on the program, pay your fee, you have access to all previous videos. Whether you are a reciter or you are writing for the first time, you have access to all the previous videos to use for your revision, exactly. As I said, for any payment plans and all of that, you can share your request with me and I have the prerogative to approve it, exactly. But if you are an alumni, it's obvious, if you have any payment plan, we can go on the terms of that relationship and grant you access to the class, even though you haven't made full payment, and we can see how best we can make the final payment within your stipulated arrangement that you may have with us, exactly. So kindly take note of that. Okay, so somebody is saying that, he says that, please, my plea is that our senior colleague should help us with the upcoming ones to get jobs at GRA. So Evans, yes, jobs in this country is not easy now. So Faisal, you can please.
Okay.
You say get him a job at GRA.
That's wonderful. So I think GRA is quite an open institution. So yes, the process is quite open. So put in your application, submit to the HR, and
I'm sure what he's trying to say is that
considered.
I'm sure what he's trying to say, in this country now, it's not about who you know, but who knows you. I'm sure that's what he's trying to say.
Okay. With that, some of us don't seem to have that more or less level of connection. I think it's basically on merit. So if you apply and there's a window, they call you for the process. And
now there's so much. I think GRA is doing a lot of recovery using some special audit teams. I'm sure, yes, there are some window of opportunity. Once you read, I'm sure you put in your application, you could be considered, exactly. So I think we can wrap up now. I'm sure there's so many questions. We can't deal with all of them. We can keep the conversation going. If you have any question, you can reach me directly. I think 0555, as I repeated, 0555 213 559. So the fives are 3. So 0555. That's 0555 5. That's 3 5s. 213 559. So you can reach me on WhatsApp. I'll prefer you send me a message on WhatsApp so that I can actually respond to you, exactly, so that we can keep the conversation going, so that we can all end here. As I said, I'm already under a lot of pressure. We actually at the ICA exams conference, so I need to get back to sort out some few things. But that notwithstanding, it's been a very good night. We started from 6. And I'm sure it's almost 7:30, so we can close on this note. So I want to thank the team for this massive contribution to ensure that we are able to have our first opening night, exactly, for the year 2023. As I said, you can either choose our normal tuition program or the modular program for your tuition. The normal tuition is for those who are registering for the first time, and the modular is for reciters. So if you need any information on any of these, the normal tuition is on weekends, the modular revision is on weekdays. And as I said, our lectures begin from tomorrow, exactly tomorrow, we are taking off. And the video will be made available after the class. It's recorded, it's on YouTube. We'll share it on the app, exactly, or in the various platforms for you to have access. If you have any questions, I'm sure some of those questions have already been answered, but I'm sure you will have been sorted out along the way. So thank you all, and then I wish you all the best. So Mike, if you can share.